Good morning and welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Vicki Green. So listen, if you live in central Massachusetts or you have relatives in from out of town, you're thinking of a staycation this summer, the kids are itching to get outside, you don't know what to do, where do you go for nightlife in the area if you get date night? Then this is the show for you. My guest in studio today is Jackie Joncas, who's the Membership and Marketing Coordinator for Discover Central Mass. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I know this is a blast talking to you about a lot of things, in a lot of ways, and we're going to get to a lot of subjects. You are part of a very small team, which does an incredible job. Small team of 4 at Discover Central Mass. Headed by Executive Director Stephanie Ramey, who I had on the show in the, I would say, early winter, and we were talking about a lot about what's happening in the city and all of the events and what Discover Central Mass is all about. And I want to revisit that for the summer and the fall because a lot of people maybe don't know about it. We're going to talk about the iPhone app, the phone app that you have. Like you, she's very passionate about what Discover Central Mass does. So we're going to put the website, because I go to it all the time, we're going to put the website on our station website with the show. But it's easy. It's discovercentralma.org. And it's you're essentially the tourism bureau, right?
Yep, that's what we are.
For a large area. So how would you explain what it is you do and how many communities you cover?
So what Discover Central Mass does, at least from my perspective, is we promote and we try and just spread the word about the hidden gems and why people should be coming to Central Massachusetts and why we are just as good as the place we always get compared to, Boston. We have so many things out here, and not even just Worcester. I mean, all of Central Massachusetts. We advocate and we cover 34 towns and cities. We have over 200 members currently, and we hope to grow that membership base. And it really, we try and promote everything that's going on in the area between deals, we have an event calendar, we have our app with itineraries that people can use pre-made ones or they can make their own. Everything we do is very user-friendly, and it's just to help all the businesses in the area succeed and get attention that maybe they don't get at this point.
Right. It's kind of it's a two-way street. We want the people to come to the businesses, and you want to help. Discover Central Mass wants to help these businesses get the word out.
Right.
Right. So we're the second largest city in New England, and I repeat that on almost every show because people don't really know that. We're bigger than Hartford. We're bigger than Providence. Worcester's had a reputation in the past, and it seems like we're finally getting our due, and whether it's because the Pawtucket Red Sox are going to be the Worcester Red Sox. Whatever the reason, I'm just glad.
Yeah.
Because this city has been wonderful for 25 years. So you have 230 members, and they range from like a small example?
So we have like small little mom and pop shops and like a Tinker's Cart. The Tinker's Cart in Clinton. It's a cool little Irish themed boutique, I guess, if you will.
Retail.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we also have huge places that are wildly known, like the Flying Rhino,
which is a restaurant,
right? Or the Sole Proprietor, another restaurant. We also have the DCU Center, it hosts events, it hosts graduations. The Hanover Theater, again, music, theater.
Mechanics Hall too.
Yeah, Mechanics Hall. We have all these different places, and it's just fun. It's a fun company to work for, but B, it's fun to go out and get to know these people and share to our followers all that they can do. I mean, we have the Ecotarium. They're a member, and so they have all different activities for kids, families. They teach you about science, animals, indoor, outdoor, super interactive places.
Didn't they just
like
get
that.
Mountain lions or something?
Yes, they do.
I have to have her in here. I haven't had she's new in the last year.
So our members range from, we have a couple salons, the Head Shop Hair Factory, and so a lot of places that are smaller use us more for the promotional end, that's awesome. That's what we're here for. In terms of the bigger, it's to host events. The DCU Center, the Hanover. Whenever we get leads, we send them out to the different members so that they can kind of say, oh yeah, we can host this event, or yeah, we'd love to help support XYZ. So
that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that.
We're a very good connecting tool along with promotion. So.
Right. And what I use it for is the calendar. If I want to know what's going on, there are some funky lists. But to put the tourism industry in perspective for people listening, your own data on Discover Central Mass indicates that more than 3,200 people are employed in tourism-related jobs in Central Mass. We're not just talking about Worcester. We're talking about everything from Wachusett region to Sturbridge to Shrewsbury on the eastern
Blackstone.
side, Blackstone,
Yep.
395 corridor south of Worcester. But that's 3,200 jobs, and that's only going to get bigger with the
Oh, absolutely.
ballpark and surrounding business. And that's a payroll of over $90 million annually. Travelers spend nearly $500 million in this region. And that means local tax receipts of almost $11 million. So while that's great that is terrific for the region because all that does is spur the economy. We want people to move here.
Absolutely.
That's not this show. We've done many shows on that. But, whether it's the Red Sox coming or for whatever reason, people hadn't heard about it. And when Stephanie was here, this is how I used to feel. And I know you came here for school, and we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But I get frustrated because I've been here for 25 years in this area, and there's always been terrific restaurants. There's always been Mechanics Hall. There's always been the DCU Center. It used to be called the Centrum. And I will tell you, I grew up east of here, and you grew up northeast, kind of.
Right.
But we grew up where we would go to Boston for a lot of things.
Yes.
And I had never even been, friends that I grew up with, I'm dating myself, would go to the Centrum for a concert, but we'd mostly go to the Garden, the old Garden.
Yeah.
But there was never any, we would always go east, and now people are starting to come west. So that's a wonderful thing, and it means a lot of money for the region. And so the new hotels, the thing that Stephanie also impressed upon me, maybe you can touch on this, is the big convention scene that we have. The DCU Center is, and I'm hoping to do a show with Sandy there about, they've announced, I think it's around $30 million of renovation.
Oh,
They're
okay.
doing to DCU Center.
Yeah.
But the conventions that come in there, it's not just graduation, but the convention center that's connected means they need hotels to stay at, and they need, that really draws people. They eat at the local, that
Yes.
spurs the local economy. So that's a big part of what you guys do too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So especially for, as we kind of talked about with the members, so our sales director, Monique Messier, and our sales manager, Dustin Boucher, they work when they get those leads for conventions or a dance competition, cheer competition, whatever it may be. And they pass the word along to, say, the DCU Center. And then we also pass the word along to the hotels, AC Marriott, Beechwood, Homewood Suites.
And soon to be 2 more by 2021.
And so we just try and connect all of them together so that we are getting the most A, dollar amount, but B, support within Central Massachusetts for one another, because the more that we can have those overnights, we can fill those rooms, the more we can have those conventions and grow them in the area. That's our goal.
Yeah, and it's interesting because depending on what I read, there's issues with vacancy rates in some cities, and people always wonder, well, the more hotels, is it going to be oversaturated? Do we have people to fill the rooms? And right now, as of a couple of months ago, the data that I saw online for Worcester was that the room rates are up in the last 3 months, not a lot, but are up over last year.
Yeah.
And vacancy rates are down a little bit. So we're filling more beds, and we don't want to obviously make it so expensive that people can't come here.
Right.
That's the other thing about Worcester. It's always, well, I shouldn't say it's always, but it's cheaper than Boston right now.
Absolutely.
And it always has been.
Yep.
Whether it continues to be, we hope so.
Right.
But I mean, the value proposition to come here
Right.
is phenomenal. So when Stephanie was here, we talked about the rollout of a phone app, which you talked
Yes.
about a little bit. Can you explain? Was that done by a local Worcester tech company, right? Didn't they do that?
No, so we worked with Visit Widget,
Okay.
and they are absolutely phenomenal. Their team was unbelievable. They were so helpful. They were very attentive. They kept us on track. They did everything we had asked them. I mean, we would ask them to change a billion things. And
But if I was looking at the app because I
Yeah.
want to plan a trip, what
Yeah.
does it show you when you look at it?
yeah, so when you actually open it up, it shows a splash screen of 4 different super famous images of the area. And then you can actually choose, there's a bunch of different blocks. And so you can choose the event calendar. It'll show you current events. You can choose itineraries. It'll show you pre-made itineraries. It'll show you things to do, special offers. So it's a little block screen. And then you can click on those block screens and go in, say for an itinerary that's already made, you can either hit
Like it
go.
will show you a restaurant. Say you will put in
Yeah.
a museum. It'll say, all right, here are the museum choices.
Yep.
In the region. Again, we love the Worcester Art Museum, but it could be the Museum of Russian Icons. It could be anything.
Yeah.
So it will show you the museum and then the nearest restaurant, and then if you need a hotel to stay at.
Yeah, and so it's based off of wherever you are. So wherever your location is, it will actually say you're somewhere for, again, a dance competition, and you're like, all right, we need
From
a
out of
quick
state,
bite.
you mean?
Yeah, and we need a quick bite to eat and a hotel in the area. You can pull up the widget, and it will actually pull from your location where to go that's closest to you, which is pretty cool. So that's kind of how it works in terms of like it working instantly kind of right away, or you can plan ahead and you can go into the different events, the different itineraries, the different special offers, add them to a trip, and then when you're ready, you can hit go and it'll map the whole thing out for you. It's really user friendly, it's free to download, works for iPhone and Android, and again, I keep saying the word fun, but what we do is fun. It makes things fun. It makes coming here fun. And it's just super simple to navigate. It's always updated, so everything that we put in on the back end that goes to our website instantly pulls. So all the events are current. All the itineraries are constantly.
Yeah,
We're
you're not
adding
going to see an
more.
event from 6 months ago.
Right.
Some websites you'll go to and it'll be like, wait, that happened last week.
And the other thing is you can narrow down your search because there's different check boxes that you can check off. So you can check off which region you're kind of looking for, what style, if you're looking for music, history, museum, food. And so that, again, just helps kind of figure out, keeps you on one path so you're not really overwhelmed, but you have a lot of options.
Like, yeah, you can get easily overwhelmed because whenever I want to do something on this website, there's so many things to do.
Right.
So I ask my guests this question, almost every guest I have, because I get interesting answers.
Yeah.
Now, you came here for college,
Yep,
right?
I did.
You went to Worcester State University.
Yes.
You are from Massachusetts, but not from Worcester County.
Nope.
And what do you think, you've been here for college, you stayed here. What do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions that either you had before you came to look at this school?
Yeah.
Or you think people in general have about Worcester?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm from Westford, Massachusetts, out near Lowell. And so when I remember when I was talking about coming to Worcester, I always knew I wanted to go to a city-esque place. I knew Boston was too big for me. It wasn't what I was looking for. And I also have family out in Central Mass, so that's another reason I kind of ended up out here. But I remember my mom was so shaken that I wanted to go to Worcester. And again, it was because that misconception of, oh, you can't go off campus, all the...
What do you mean, because it's dangerous?
Right, the danger or the dirty. And it's so not true. I mean, there's definitely places in any city that are dangerous that, no, you shouldn't probably walk alone at night. It's 2019, you shouldn't do that anyway, in my opinion. But that was definitely the biggest misconception, was that it was scary because it's a city. But I have had the most incredible 4 years of college, another year after, and I never ever felt unsafe on my campus. I mean, I was 21, we were going out to the bars. I never felt unsafe at a bar. And I think it's something that a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to go there. But why not? There's so much to see, there's so much to do. And I honestly think people who don't think to give Worcester the time of day without having to have their arm pulled, it's a shame because you're missing so much.
I agree with you. And the funny thing is if you take the Mass Pike, because you're going to go to college anywhere, east,
Right.
south, west, you're going to go through Worcester.
Right.
Or through Central Mass on
Yeah.
the Pike. So you're bypassing this city to potentially go to another city.
Right.
When this is a lot closer, a lot cheaper. And
it's more convenient in terms of parking. There's parking lots everywhere. It has to be half the price of Boston, say a parking garage, and it's much more easy to navigate. It's not a bunch of one ways where you're like, oh God, I just missed that turn. Now you got to drive and drive. I mean, you figure it out. It's super easy. You miss that right turn, you take the next left, and you're back on track.
And then how about career opportunities? I mean, you found one.
Yeah.
And let's say you graduated with. Well, let me go into this quote really quick because this goes into what we were going to talk about. I'm jumping ahead of myself here, but Stephanie, Again, Stephanie Ramey, the executive director of Discover Central Mass, who was here with me a couple of months ago, was also, I should congratulate her, I saw her the other day, named to Worcester Business Journal Power 50 back in May. She's a force to be reckoned with, and it sounds like you are too. And
Thank you.
everybody shares a passion. So here's what she was quoted as saying in a Worcester Magazine article. Stephanie said, quote, "I think we need to do a better job of telling the story to the millennial audience. It's not just about museums and going to expensive dinners. There's a real cool, gritty culture in Worcester." And she didn't mean dirty by gritty. She means cool. "Do you know about the dive bar? Do you know about a place like Ralph's? Those are things that are authentic to Worcester." That younger demographic is what we need. They want the hidden gems in our city. That younger generation, college students particularly, she said, have a historic tendency to leave the city. So, as we get into this is Stephanie's quote, and it's exactly what you're getting at. Did a lot of your friends leave Worcester after college or stay? And if not, why?
Yeah. So actually, a bunch of people that I graduated with, I can tell you, my boyfriend was working right downtown. He got a job right after school.
In Worcester?
Yep, in Worcester. I know a handful of kids who are either working at, say, Enterprise downtown, right near, right before White City in Shrewsbury. A bunch of people working in the different kind of homes around here, like the older homes.
But the jobs are there.
Oh, absolutely. And then one of my best friends, actually, she volunteers. She's a scribe at St. Vincent's. So, I mean, there's job opportunities everywhere.
They say med and ed and education, because we have 9,
Yeah.
depending on how you count, but I count 9 because I don't necessarily include some of the
Yeah.
further out schools. But 9 colleges, that's about 35,000 students or more in this city. And everyone is starting to look at that issue. They have been for years, but for the last couple of years, but really trying to focus on how do we keep these college students interested, whether it's engineering,
Right.
so they want a tech job. We don't want them to go to Boston. We want them to stay here. And a lot of them want to stay here, I
Right.
think, because it's more affordable,
Yeah.
but they may not be able to find the job they want. And now with things like the biotech park
Yeah.
has grown, because I saw it when it was one building.
Yeah.
And Gateway Park hadn't been born yet. And it's just, it's huge, the innovation that's going on here. The arts and culture, the Worcester Pop-Up, they're doing the comedy theater. What's it called? The Black Box?
The Woo-Ha-Ha.
Yeah, the Woo-Ha-Ha
Yeah,
Comedy
yep.
Theater. Again, there's so much culture, and I've done so many shows on it because I love it, whether it's art, whether it's music, whether it's theater. I had a friend come to the Hanover who we always go to Boston to the Opera House, or when I was growing up, it was the Wang Center, and it's now the Bach Center, and the Colonial Theater, and all of those theaters. And then they came out here. I said, "You got to see this show." They're all traveling companies now. And I had Troy Siebels, the head of the Hanover Theater and Conservatory and Performance School here about 6 months ago. And we talked about just the amazing things going on there and in the region, in the surrounding area. You talk about crime. The city dumped $11 million approximately into redoing Main Street to make it more biker friendly. And, the parking, Hanover Theater parking is so cheap.
Yeah.
I went to a show there and with a friend. And again, she's used to going to shows downtown Boston. She said, "You know what? This theater is gorgeous. They restored this building.
It's beautiful.
And it's just like going to Boston. And the prices are unbelievable. People go to Providence for shows.
Right.
But why wouldn't you come here? It just doesn't make any sense, especially if you're within an hour drive. I'd rather drive west than east at this point.
Yeah.
I live on the Worcester County Metro West line right now. I grew up in Metro West. If I had known what I know now about Worcester, I would have done a lot more this way than go through the traffic to get
Yeah.
And I love Boston, don't get me wrong. I'm
Right.
going in there this week. But I have to worry, actually, about the time of day that I'm going because the drive is difficult. And I never have that problem coming this way.
Right.
There's a backup every once in a while, but it's not like you have to plan your activities around traffic.
Right.
And I think that's a big thing. So there's opportunity here, whether it's biotech and engineering, whether it's insurance, whether it's medical.
I would say banking, marketing, business. People, especially the students here, there are as we like to say, 9 colleges, people need interns. People need those people to fill the spaces. And it's an opportunity for us as interns and students to learn. I think as long as you're proactive, there's going to be a job for you. I mean, it could even be at the school. A lot of the schools, they need marketing. They need help in the student activities offices. You just got to kind of look for it because the opportunity is definitely here in Worcester.
Yeah, and I agree with what you say. It's always too motivation and being able to look, but there are jobs here.
Yeah.
There are plenty of jobs here.
And Central Mass as a whole. I mean,
that's right.
There's all the different convention centers. Like there's the Southbridge Convention Center. They look for people to do their phone sales, and that was one that came up to the top of my head. We had a business after hours for the chamber a couple weeks ago. I met the woman. She's phenomenal. She had asked me if anyone I graduated with was looking for a job, and people are looking in Central Massachusetts, and if you're willing to stay and look for that opportunity, it's definitely here.
And I can tell you the rents, they're not great. I'm on the eastern side, but it's still much cheaper. The further east you go, the more expensive you get.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about some fun stuff. There's so much on your site. Where do you get the best donut, the top 5 donut places? I looked at that, of course.
Right.
To free family fun ideas, to discovering the mysteries in the region. And I'm like, that got my attention. I'm like, what's good? There's mysterious things that I don't know about, and it's so cool. But on the free family events, what can you give me 1 or 2 ideas?
Absolutely. Well, there are free Fridays at the Worcester Art Museum, and so you can go in on Friday afternoon and you can go check out the art museum, which is unbelievable. I mean, their exhibits are so cool. And then there's also we have Explore the Central Mass Rail Trail. It's a beautiful section of Central Mass that crosses over the Quinnipoxet River. It leads to River Street in Holden, and it's awesome for the love of kind of outdoors. That trail, you're bringing the kids out, they're getting activity. Yeah, no, me either. There's also the fountain shows at Dean Park, and they are nightly shows with water and lights. They start at 8 p.m. There's music. It can be heard on the radio. There's picnic areas, walking trails. Admission is completely free.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
That is cool. You drive up, and I think there's a radio station that you tune to because they used to have, I don't know if they still do that, but they light up the fountains, turn color with the music sometimes.
Yeah.
And Dean Park, it's a park. You park for free. The other thing that I did, I think we paid, maybe $3 to park. But I brought this up to you because I had never been there when I went with my daughter. Purgatory Chasm.
Yes.
Which is in the southern area.
Which is so cool.
That's hiking.
Yep.
And some hard hiking.
And there's a playground. So
yep.
For a little more family friendly if you're not looking to do a crazy hike.
Yeah. And then let's talk about water. So we have Lake Quinsigamond, which is gorgeous. And I saw online that I'm going to quote this online. It was I think it was text from a podcast, but I think it was on your website. It's somewhere. But whether or not it's true, it's interesting. We know that comedian, actress Rosie O'Donnell has been in Worcester. There's been reports about her dating a Worcester police officer. I'm not in here to gossip. I don't know anything. But she had been looking to, quote, scout properties on Lake Quinsigamond. And the only reason I looked at that was because it made me think, yeah, you know what? Lake Quinsigamond is gorgeous, and I drove over it all the time.
Right.
On Route 9, and maybe I take it for granted.
Yeah.
Because the Regatta Sailing Club, which is right there, I don't know if you've ever done it, but I haven't. And I heard that paddle boarding, and it's really inexpensive.
Yeah, you can rent the paddle boards. You can try the sailing. I know that the Lakeview Marina, they actually also rent paddle boards and kayaks. They have different rates for the day, and you can just go out and have an absolute day. You get to make it whatever you want it to be, and the rentals are free. They're available, or not free, I'm sorry. They're affordable, and you can just have a free day and be on the water.
And I don't think you have to park down there if you can get a spot. There's a bunch of lots.
Yeah.
Like Lake Ave Park, and then the Regatta Park. You can walk over it's kind of it's near the hospital, but yeah, I go by and see the sailboats, and then in the fall you see the crew boats, because crew is huge out here because they have the lake.
Right. And then there's the splash park. So at Christopher Colombo Park, there's a splash park.
In Worcester, yeah.
Yep. It's also East Park, Christopher Colombo Park, East Park. And they have a splash pad. So it offers a playground with an amphitheater, a gazebo, tennis.
Isn't that where the fireworks were?
Yes. Absolutely. So again, that's another form of getting the kids outside, making sure that they're cooled down, and that is free also. So
And there's kid-friendly restaurants too.
yeah,
But one of the things she said too was in that quote that I read from Stephanie was nightlife. Now, take away the college. Let's say we're close between our ages. I'm not going to give my age, but between your age and my age. And we're Stephanie's age, and she's got 3 little kids. And she was telling me at the time about Lock 50 and the igloos because she was here in the winter.
Yep.
And they have the igloos that you can eat in. It's really cool.
Very, very
so
cool.
There's stuff like that year round. There's places doing, these one-off dinners out in like all the farmers markets.
Yes.
In Boston, I used to go to the Copley one when I worked there every Thursday, but there's like virtually a farmers market in almost every town in Central Mass. And the further west you go in Central Mass, like the Brookfields and stuff, I mean, these farmers markets, they're legitimate farmer. The farmers are like 5 miles away.
Yeah. In Douglas Orchard, actually, I was there this morning for a Facebook Live, and I got to go and walk around, and they have a farmers market that happens every Saturday. And so you can just go, and originally I think where it was before, I'm not exactly sure, but they were getting like 30 people. I think once they moved it to the farm, again, because people have this idea of a farm, but they have like over like 150 people coming now to come get this fresh produce. It's amazing.
Yeah, and sometimes there's indoor ones. I live in Westboro, they have one, and I know some towns do indoor ones. So there's plenty to do for the family. So now say you want to go on date night. I mean, I know you're not that age and I'm not that age, but I can think of places or kid-friendly restaurants.
Okay.
I mean, there's tons of stuff to do. The Public House out in Sturbridge they added some beds, I know, to their inn. But that restaurant is very well known. But there's some other restaurants that aren't as well known. And some chains, the Sole Proprietor, which is owned by the restaurant group that also owns 111 Chop House in Via on Shrewsbury Street. Again, that's our restaurant row. That's been there and phenomenal. I went to Sole Proprietor before I was married. Okay?
That was my parents' first date.
Okay, well, close to mine. So, which is over by WPI. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's been there 25 plus years. But now, I think all these chefs, and I've had chefs in here talk about why they're being drawn to this area.
Yeah.
Because you see great chefs come in, you want to be with those chefs.
Right.
And so it's just amazing what's going on here. Now all the sports that are here, we've always had things going on, and with the college sports, and now the airport expansion.
Yeah.
We've talked about that with the Red Sox, and people can fly in easily.
Oh, everything's becoming so much more convenient. It's so exciting to see.
Convenient, cheaper, cost effective, and fun. What else do you need to know, right?
Yeah.
So with that, my problem is every time I go to discovercentralmass.org, again, it's discovercentralma.org, I find so many things I'm thinking, when am I going to have time to do all this?
Right.
But then I say, well, there's always next season. Because, as you said, the calendar's always updated. So I'm looking forward to doing some more things, and definitely that's my website go-to.
Awesome.
So thank you to Jackie Jonkis, Membership and Marketing Coordinator for Discover Central Mass. Again, their website, discovercentralmass.org, will be up on the station's website. So thanks for coming in today.
Thanks so much for having me. This was absolutely wonderful, and we appreciate you letting us talk about Discover Central Mass and all that we do.
Well, yeah, I'm going to have you come in. I'm going to keep Stephanie. Every season we should do this, I think, because this is kind of what I've started. We did in the winter, now we're doing the summer, then we'll come back in the fall. So thank you to Jackie Jonkis, discovercentralmass.org. That's Community Conversations. I'm Vicki Green. Have a wonderful day. Full day. Full day. Full day.